Example 7. Graph the ellipse given by the equation, and then identify and label the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and the foci. So in order to do this, I'm going to look at our equation, and I'm going to start identifying A and B. So first of all, remember A is always your larger number. So A in this case is going to come off of our 9 because that's our larger number. So we're going to take the square root of 9, which is 3. Then I'm going to identify my B. My B is always our smaller, so that's going to be the square root of 4, which is going to give me 2. Then I'm going to go to large C because this is my center. If you don't like large C, just write center. And I've got an H and I've got a K, and keep in mind these are opposite, so our center is going to be at -2, +5. From there, let's start putting things on the graph and see where we're at. So -2, 5 is our center. And then our A value is 3. Now, that A value came off of here, which was the y-axis. So stick to the y-axis, stay parallel to the y-axis, and we're going to go up 3, and then we're going to go down 3. And then our B value came off of the x, so we're sticking parallel to the x-axis, and we're going to go over 2 over 2. And at this point, you can graph this. Try to make it look like an ellipse. And there's your graph. Now, they said we had to label the center. We did. We also have to label the vertices. So vertices, keep in mind, are on your major axis. So here's a vertice. Here's a vertice. Your first one is at -2, 8. And then -2, 2. We also have to label our co-vertices. Co-vertices are off of here and here. So our first one is at -4, 5 and 0, 5. The last thing we have to label is our foci. So in order to find our foci, I know that those are on our major axis, and they're somewhere in there, which means in order to find that, I'm probably going to need our C value. Keep in mind, C squared equals A squared minus B squared. A squared we know is 9. B squared we know is 4. So C squared equals 5. So C is plus or minus the square root of 5. Now, let's think about that for a minute. You're at your center. You have to go up √5. You have to go down √5. Well, this is already at 5. So you're at 5, and you're going to go up √5. So your first foci is at -2, 5 plus √5. Your second foci is at -2 because you're still back here at -2, but you're at 5, and now we're going to go down √5. And that's how you find your foci. Example 8. Graph the ellipse with that's given by the equation. Identify and label the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and the foci. Same as before. So this time I'm going to start with the center. And the center is going to be +4, +2. Next thing I'm going to look at is my A and my B. A is always your larger one, in this case 36. So square root of 36 is going to give me 6. Now that is underneath the x, so we stay parallel to our x-axis and we go out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then left 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know those are our vertices. Then our B value is the square root of 20, which is actually going to be 2 square root 5. Now, in order to do that, 2 square root 5 is roughly 4.472. So when I go to graph this, I'm going to go back to my center and I'm going to go up 4.5 roughly. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And then at this point, we can graph. Now, identify and label the center. We did that. Next thing we need are the vertices. Keep in mind your vertices are on your major axis. So your first one is at negative 2, 2. And your second one is at 10, 2. Then we need our co-vertices, which are going to be here and here. Now, that's a little more interesting because it's not at an exact point because we have this 2 root 5. So in order to get there, we are at 4 because we go over 4. Then I'm going to go back to my center here, which is at 2. Do you notice your center is at like 2? But from 2, we went up 2 root 5. And we went down 2 root 5. So my first one is going to be at 2 plus 2 root 5. And then my second one, still over 4, but 2 minus 2 root 5. And that's how we're going to list our co-vertices. Then we need our foci. And in order to find our foci, they're going to be somewhere here along our major axis, but we need our c value. So once again, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. A squared, we know up here was 36, minus b squared, we know was 20. 36 minus 20 is 16. And then we take a square root. We know our c value is plus or minus 4. So if I come back to my center, I'm going to go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to give me my first foci. Back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to give me my second foci. So then my foci are at 0, 2, and 8, 2.